All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're in La Paz at Casa 1880. This is a special place, a special location, and we have a special guest, Agustín Olachea, the president of the La Paz Hotel Association with us. Welcome, Agustín.
Well, it's so nice to be here with you and with all your viewers, and happy to be here in one of the best places to live in all Mexico, La Paz.
Agustín, you've been on podcasts of mine before over the years. Actually, I can remember about over 5 years ago, during the pandemic, actually.
I remember
on
that.
Zoom, we did a podcast talking about the Hotel Association, the hotel industry, La Paz. And tell everyone who didn't see that podcast your history with La Paz.
Well, the history of La Paz to me goes very deep, have very deep roots in this fantastic city that I'm deeply in love with. Almost matches to be deep in love with my wife. So that deep. It goes from my ancestors. My grandfather was born in a little, not even town. It was like a little 2-3 houses on top of the hill from Todos Santos to Pescadero. You go up, and right now you take about a dirt road about an hour to get where he was born. Very limited conditions, 1890. And they decided to go in a drought, bad drought. They decided to go and work in the mines of Santa Rosalia. And then their brothers decided to move. They said it was a better conditions to go to Cananea in Sonora. And that's where the Mexican Revolution broke. That's where my grandfather, young, 25, something like 20 years old, got involved in the revolution, and with very people that are right now in our history books, like Obregón, Calles, Cárdenas.
Are you kidding me? Like every Mexican town and city, what the streets are named after.
Right.
Right?
Right.
This is your grandfather.
My grandfather. And my grandfather, he fought in 100 battles, and he got injured by bullets twice. He almost died once. And then it's a very interesting story. I don't want to...
No. Please elaborate, because you've never told me this. I didn't know he was in the army and he fought in 100 battles.
Yeah. And then after a siege they had in a place called Naco, Sonora, that he kind of broke uprising of General Escobar that wanted to go and fight against the Mexico City government, which was Álvaro Obregón, and he stayed there, and they gave him time for the Mexican troops to go against the Escobarista generals and beat him. And the siege was in place for probably about 25 days. And they had very few weapons, and they had only one cannon, and there was all these big generals going against only my grandfather.
This is in Sonora.
It's in Sonora, Naco, Sonora.
And then the revolution was in 1910, right?
1910,
Right.
Started in Cananea, in that mine. And all those, they were the winners of the wars, Calles, Álvaro Obregón, and all those, and my grandfather was fighting with them. Anyway, so after that, Álvaro Obregón, the president of Mexico, was very, he said, ask me something because I want to help you. I said, my grandfather decided to ask to be the governor of Baja California Sur. Back then, it's not even close to what Baja California Sur is now. back then it was just, imagine, La Paz, Cabo was nothing. But he decided to come here, and he did a lot of good things in that first term he was governor. It was a territory, it was not elected, it was appointed by the president. So he came here, and he did things like agricultural land that right now they're still working, and Los Planes, that's he came. Also, and he did try to modernize what it was his love of his life, it was Baja California Sur. Then, Plutarco Elías Calles, the president of Mexico, stepped down to be president. The president that was governor in Baja Norte went to be the president of Mexico. So he asked my grandfather, come and be the governor in Baja California Norte. So he went there, and that's where my father was born, in Baja Norte, El Valle de Mexicali, which is a huge agricultural land now. He was the one that brought it up like that, but he was also governor over there.
What year are we talking?
We're talking 1930 something, the Second World War, he was there. And after that, he was appointed in different parts of Mexico to be the head of the army in different parts of Mexico. After that, again, there was a need of someone with roots here in the Baja to be the governor, and he came again to be the governor of Baja California Sur. He opened up Cabo San Lucas with Palmilla, with the family of, forgetting the name of the president. They're going to say, well, you don't remember that? But I will remember it throughout the podcast.
Is this in the 50s, 40s?
This is in the 45, 47, 48.
So right after
50.
World War II.
Right after that, and then the Hollywood stars would start coming to Cabo,
Yes.
to Palmilla,
Yes.
start going. And he was helping the son of that president started to bring in his friends from Hollywood to Palmilla.
And so your grandfather was in the middle of all of that.
He was in the middle of that, and he opened up Ciudad Constitucion. He opened the agricultural land. It was nothing. It was desert there, and he gave out land and tractors and utensils, so people would come from all over Mexico to give him all that free to just work the land. And after that, president asked him to be the head of the party, the PRI party, which was the number one party in Mexico that ruled 70 years. And he was the head of the party.
Holy
And
smokes.
right after that, with López Mateos, he was appointed to be the Secretary of Defense of the country.
So your grandfather was the Secretary of Defense of the whole country.
Of the whole country.
What year are we talking now?
We're talking from 1964 to before 1958 to 1964.
Okay. And when were you born?
I was born in 1961. So when I was born, my grandfather was the Secretary of Mexico, of the
Defense.
Of defense. And then my father went into politics also, and he was the head of the tourism in Mexico in 1970 to 1974.
Okay.
And I decided not to go into politics. I decided to go on my own and happily live in La Paz, which I'm so grateful.
So your grandfather, he lived in La Paz? Or just in the state?
He lived half of the year, or more than half of the year. He had a house here. Out of all those big jobs, he had 3 houses. One in Mexico, one in La Paz, and his love of his life in Buena Vista.
Really?
He owned all that land where Spa Buena Vista is and all that. That was where the flag is.
I've heard stories about a Mexican general. That was your grandfather.
That was my grandfather.
Oh man, that's wild.
That was my girl.
So I heard this story about the big flag, and there was an American that was there, and then there was like a battle of the flags, like which flag was bigger or something like that. Have you heard about this?
No, I think that's a little bit of gossip.
Okay.
What my grandfather, he was very proud of his country and he loved it dearly. He loved Buena Vista, and he put that monument for the flag there himself.
And it's still there.
And on the Flag Day of Mexico, they would do that big event in the Baja. Everybody would go there and do the ceremony of the Baja there in that hill.
Wow.
And my childhood was around La Paz and Buena Vista.
Yeah.
Buena Vista was like my kids' ground. It was fantastic to be there. There was nothing around. It was only Rancho Buena Vista and my grandfather's house and Rancho Colorado, another house there, which was very little. And that was it. There was nothing more.
So you actually left the area, or you grew up in Mexico City, right?
I grew up in Mexico City, always wanted to come to La Paz, and I finally did it right after college.
By way of Cabo, right?
By way of first La Paz,
Okay.
and then I married and I went to work with a great family and a great company with Solmar, with Mr. Bulnes.
Yeah.
As one of the big godfathers of Cabo, one of the founder, and loved to work with him for a while. And then with Luis Bulnes, I met him and I was working under him. So I was very happy to be there. And that's how I got to be in Cabo for 7 years. I was there, and then I had a restaurant. Probably people that had been there for a long time know about La Trattoria that was right across Squid Row. We're very happy to have that place.
And it was the Italian
name of the
restaurant.
president is Abelardo L. Rodriguez.
Okay.
He was a governor in the north, went to be president of Mexico, and his son, Los Rodriguez, that they have Rancho Las Cruces,
Yes.
all that line of came because my grandfather invited them to start looking and looking into this great place, magical place, which is the Baja California Sur.
Okay, so you have a long history, obviously, starting with your grandfather to Baja.
Yeah.
And you've been here for a very long time. Pretty much your whole adult life.
Yes.
And you've been living many years in La Paz. Your current position of the hotel president, how did you come into that position?
Well, I was working with a project called Paraíso del Mar, and I started to get involved with the association, and it's like the osmosis. I mean, just little by little, you start getting more involved, until you're elected to be president of the association. It's just getting involved. There's not a big fight to be president. I gotta be, because you don't.
You get paid a lot, right?
It's non-profit, so it's
So it's not the money.
So it's not the money. It's just it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. My team that's here right now, they know that, and they help me a lot. But it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I think I've have the confidence of the people that are part of the association to elect me, and they feel comfortable and they feel like they're very well represented, and you just gotta enjoy it.
And this is your second go-round as the president, right?
Fourth.
So how many total years have you served in this position?
I'm running right now under my 9th year.
9th year. And how has it compared in terms of the Hotel Association and tourism in general in La Paz from the very first year till today?
Well, as an example, here in La Paz, we have something which is called Fideicomiso de Turismo de La Paz, FITUPAZ, which people in Cabo, if they know Cabo, they've heard, or you've heard, about Fiturca.
Rodrigo
Esponda, hello, Rodrigo, he's a super guy. And it's financed by the lodging tax. Every time someone gets in the hotel, they could charge 4% of the lodging tax and goes to the fideicomisos. They make separations, all that, the state government, but it goes to those trusts.
Yeah.
So when I started about 16, 17 years ago, we had a budget of 3 million pesos.
Okay.
Right now would be probably 6 at the most, 7. And that money would take us, and it's here to promote La Paz, the destination. It take us to pay the wages. It had money to have 2 or 3 ads in the Mexico newspapers, and then attend Tianguis Turístico, and maybe another event. That was it.
Because we're only talking a few $100,000 to pay for the salaries, the travel, the publicity in a whole year.
That budget has already, now is you can multiply it by 10, the yearly budget that we have.
Okay, so we're talking instead of hundreds of thousands of US dollars to millions.
Millions of dollars in order to promote La Paz as we have. It's not enough money to promote it, but you have to, in order to compete in this very, very heavily competed world. Because we're competing, and we have to look at this way. We're competing against Scottsdale, Dominican Republic. Cabo is not even competition for us because we're neighbors. But we're competing in Hawaii, and we're competing against San Diego, and we're competing against Costa Rica, especially Costa Rica. That's one of the big competitors.
Panama, Belize.
Exactly, and Belize, all that. So we're competing. We have to be in the top of mind of our future clients and the people that are traveling to say, out of the choices I have for what this place offers, this, and this, and the cost of traveling to La Paz and what it offers, and maybe hopefully word of mouth, which that's very powerful, they decide to travel with us. But if you're not out there telling the story like this podcast, you're nothing. You don't exist.
Okay, so by comparison, what approximately do you know what the budget for Los Cabos is for tourism? It's got to be more than La Paz, right?
It's 5 times more than La Paz.
So we're talking probably over $10 million, $15 million budget on an annual basis.
I don't know
to
this
promote.
year how they're gonna, but yes, it's in that range.
And people know Los Cabos. You hear about it in movies, in TV shows. I think it's really reached mass hysteria. Like people,
yes.
But people don't know La Paz.
But this is something that we have to struggle. And what you just mentioned is important because they say it happened to us in our federal government 7 years ago. Why should we promote Mexico anymore? Everybody knows Mexico. So they took away the CPTM, which was something like that, and they put the money into the Tren Maya. So we're not going to promote Mexico because everyone knows Mexico. If Coca-Cola would think that way, why should you promote Coca-Cola? Everyone knows Coca-Cola. So everyone knows Cabo, yes, but Cabo has to keep promoting. We have a different strategy because people are beginning to know what La Paz is. What we encountered 10, 15 years ago, they would say, La Paz? What's La Paz? La Paz is, Oh, we're 2 hours by car from Cabo. Oh, Cabo for sure. Okay, I know where La Paz is. Now we're beginning to see that our future clients and the market is beginning to know La Paz.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're beginning to say, yes, I've been to La Paz. They told me about La Paz. I know where La Paz is.
Right.
And they're not saying Bolivia. They're saying La Paz.
La Paz,
Mexico.
Bolivia, right. What is it about La Paz that makes it unique when you compare it to other destinations, even Cabo?
Well, we're in a place that is called Casa 1880, which is surrounded by things that are Jacques Cousteau and things of water and Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
And this guy, Jacques Cousteau, said that this is the aquarium of the world. And this is the perfect getaway to the Sea of Cortez, La Paz. So that's probably, we're very water oriented. So we have, as Jacques Cousteau said, aquarium of the world. My kid, a month and a half ago, went out for a day to snorkel a little bit north of the Espiritu Santo Island, which is natural protected area, is gorgeous. It's a World Heritage, whatever, UNESCO and all that. And that day, she said, she came back and she's like, Dad, you're not gonna believe what I saw. I swam with the turtles. I mean, literally side by side, show me photographs. I swam with dolphins, side by side. I swam with sea lions, side by side. I swam with a giant manta. And show me photographs. And orcas.
Orcas?
Orcas.
Come on.
Now they're having tours to swim with orcas. And she was able to swim and snorkel in the water and see orcas.
This is your daughter.
My daughter.
Which one in, because you have a few
I
daughters.
have three.
Yeah.
Well, 4 with my wife, which
Yes.
she looks like my daughter. She takes very good care. It's not that I did something wrong. The youngest, she loves the outdoors. She loves to hike and she likes to.
She did all that in one excursion.
That is what La Paz offers.
Okay.
So that's a highlight of La Paz. It's got swimmable beaches. It's got blue, turquoise, calm beaches compared to the Caribbean. It's, people don't even realize that you can have those kind of beaches in this part of the world. Also, you have a fantastic city. It's clean, it's very safe. It's considered probably the safest or the second safest city in all Mexico. So you can walk out family in the Malecon. We have probably the most beautiful Malecon of Mexico because our ancestors decided not to build the infrastructure right next to the water, have the hotels there, and then you have the main street inside, not seeing the water at all.
Yeah.
Our ancestors said, no, we're going to build the infrastructure, houses and whatever, on the back, and left the Malecon. You don't realize that until they tell you that, because you give it for granted. It's like, oh, the Malecon, beautiful. Yeah, but normally all the cities in Mexico, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Vallarta, all those. Vallarta has a nice.
Even Cabo.
Even
You're right on the beach.
right on the beach. But if you want to walk in the Malecon, let's say Squid Row, that you don't see the beach anywhere. Here, that beautiful boardwalk with the Sea of Cortez, the Bay of La Paz in front of you, is for everybody. It's for the locals.
Yeah.
It's for the foreigners. It's for that. And so that gives it. And the third, and I think it's really important to highlight, is that La Paz is in a position where you have a circuit that you're 2 hours away by car to so many fantastic places in the South Baja. You don't have, and you see so many different things. You can be in the Pacific with with huge waves and whales and all that.
Surfing in Cerritos, Todos
Surfing
Santos, the
Todos
magic
Santos.
town.
And you go spectacular fishing in Los Barriles. And then you go to Sargento La Ventana, the number 1 or 2 for kite surfing and in the world. In the world.
Yeah.
And I was there 2 weeks ago, and you had competitions. You have hundreds of kites flying, and
It's beautiful.
And the atmosphere of
Yeah.
it feels like a Huntington Beach. You're like in a very surfer with kites and all that, and that's just it's a day trip or a half day trip to go
Hour either direction. The furthest thing is like 2 hours, and that's Cabo.
And it doesn't feel like a tourist destination. This is a more calm, relaxed way, and that's our challenge. How you balance that? If we become really, really popular, we don't have the DNA to have a Cabo here. We don't.
And you don't want to be, right?
No. We want to be. There's some things that we do want to be Cabo.
In what way?
Service. We want to have Cabo service. Yes, of course. We want to have the promotion that Cabo has. We want to have the flights, maybe not as many, but we want to have international flights like Cabo. And we do want to have the luxury market that Cabo has done very well.
The hotels.
The luxury, extra luxury clientele that comes to those. Yes, we want that, but we don't want the masses that Cabo has. So where do you draw the line? But also, we don't have the bones to be Cabo. We don't. The beaches that could maybe have the potential to have hotels like Cabo has, from Pichilingue in Balandra, Tecolote, and all that, that's now natural protected area. So you can't build it. So my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids are going to see Balandra the way you see it today.
Yeah.
There's not going to be hotels in 15 years around Balandra. It's going to be pristine like it is now. Like it or not, that's the way it is.
So would you say the community and the local government is more protective of the environment and the community?
I think it's probably the same as in Cabo, because we have the same state.
Yeah.
Well,
But two different municipalities, right? La Paz versus Cabo.
different, yes. What I think makes it different, Nick, is that La Paz has 3 institutions, academic institutions. The university that has the number 1 career or major for marine biology in all Mexico. That's one. The other one is CIBNOR, which is Ciencias Biológicas del Noroeste, where they have high how do you say this? High rate investigations for marine and biology. They have master's degrees there, doctorate, and all that. And also CCMAR, that's more focused 100% on the water. So those 3 institutions are here, which are very powerful, even in Mexico level, one of the top in Mexico. All that community is very, first, very professional, very open to help, not to distract or have safe, to make safe the environment.
Very conscious of the environment.
But you have people that have a lot of background, scientific background to do that. And you don't only have 2 or 3, you have hundreds here. So those are the ones, and we have per capita, the number 1 city in Mexico with the most NGOs in all Mexico. So we have hundreds of NGOs, and they are very out loud.
Doesn't that also create some conflict though? When you want to grow tourism and you want to be maybe more capitalistic, that's in conflict.
And there's two ways of seeing it. I think it's good that we have that population of people that are guarding the environment. I think it's good because keeps in line the pressure of the investors.
Yeah.
But I on the other side, keep in line the investments. If they comply, and that's what we're trying to help with the association, they have to comply 100% with all the environmental city regulations, development regulations, in order for them to be able to put anchor to their investment.
Yeah.
If they comply with everything, it should be allowed. Most of the NGOs, they review what they're doing, all that, and they keep them in line. Some, even though they're in line, they don't agree. It's no and no. But it's like everywhere in the world. You gotta balance it out. And we, as the tourism industry of La Paz, we want to keep this a very low-key destination, keep it good for the population. With these practices of that have to be now that are very modern, that we have to be sustainable, and sustainable means three things. First, it's got to be protect the environment. Second, you have to have social awareness to help the community, the population's got to be good for them. And the third is got to be profitable, economic-wise.
Yeah.
So if one of those three don't work,
It's not sustainable.
it's not sustainable.
What are you excited about in terms of benefits for the local community with the growth of tourism and the hotel industry? Because I can see there's a lot of pushback because it's change, and change is always difficult for people, for a community. But what are some of the things that you would say to the local community that might be in resistance of change, the benefits that they can receive as a result of growing tourism in a very conscious way?
Well, change is always difficult. If you move from your house to another house, it's change. People are nervous, and I just did it with my wife, and
It was difficult.
say the least. But that change is happening to La Paz. And we got to embrace tourism because tourism is a very transversal. How do you say that in English?
Traversal. What is
It's very,
traversal?
when you come, it comes from the expenditure of tourists here in La Paz, and it just expands
Okay.
to the economy.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Because it's not only that. Let's put an example of another industry. Let's say maquiladoras, the textile companies that are in Ciudad Juárez.
Mm-hmm.
They come in here, they produce, they give out jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the jobs help the economy, but then they produce that T-shirt and they send it to the States and goes back and forth. Tourism is different. Tourism, you go down, and first you have to buy your plane ticket. And it helps the airline to keep feeding into this economy. Second, you have ground transportation. Either you have a taxi or you rent a car, all that. And that funnels into the economy. Then you go to a hotel and you pay your lodging.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you can go and do a tour, and you have a tour operator with captains and the water and all those companies that rely. So it's very...
Restaurants?
And then the restaurants and the bars.
Yeah.
And then if you buy souvenirs,
Yeah.
you also buy the shirt, the T-shirt, the keychain, the whatever. So $1 that comes into
Multiplies.
multiplies among the cities, and that's in the UN. There's also in tourism. It's an institution that's, and they have very deep studies of what happens to that is the third largest economic industry in the world. Tourism, the third.
Energy's got to be number one.
Energy,
right?
But and 1 out of 10 jobs in the world is tourism, and they employ more women than men around the world. So, seeing those numbers are macro, you put it into a micro in La Paz, it's good for our city, because plus we don't have another option.
What else? You don't have manufacturing. There's some agriculture, right? But not at scale like other parts of Mexico.
So more than 50% of our Producto Interno Bruto, or PIB, it comes from tourism. Less than in Cabo, because here we're the capital of the state, so we have
Government.
jobs. Also, I meant the institutions, those that I just mentioned, and we also are the port for all the goods that come to La Paz. And corporate companies that have their base here in the Baja, they have it in La Paz because that's where the ferry boat comes with the product, and they go to Cabo and they come to La Paz, all that. So that's also part of their economy, and that's good because we got a balance. But the main economic driver is tourism.
Yeah, the butterfly effect that you have with tourism, especially in our state, is incredible.
It's incredible.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't tourism. I mean, I came here on a vacation.
Exactly.
And, your grandfather came, was it vacation initially? Or it was because of the government and his
My
appointment?
grandfather came here, he was born here.
Oh, that's right. Jeez, what am I talking about? He was born, by Pescadero.
It
and
was by my
Costa.
great-great-grandmother and great-great-grandfather.
That's insane. That is insane. And what was his name?
What?
Your grandfather.
Same as me.
Exactly. Was your dad also Agustín?
Yes.
Incredible. And so the street that's named Agustín Olachea is your
grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Yeah, they have streets, and they have streets of my grandfather all over Mexico, because he was in the revolution.
Yeah.
He was part of that. Not as famous as Obregón and those guys out there, but he was in the second level.
And you knew your grandfather?
Yes, I did, until I was 12. Until 12.
And what was
And
it?
it was like-
What do you remember about him? Because he was later in life, obviously.
Yeah, he was my grandfather.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember going into his office. I was probably 2-3 years old, and that it was stuck in my mind. We went to his office, and he was dressed up with all the, the suit and the medals and whatever. And we went to his office, and for me, it's sound huge in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And we're coming out of his office, and he laid a hand on my sleeve. He's like, "Come here." Like, I was coming out, and I took a bunch of pencils that were in a jar or something. I took a lot, all those pencils, I took them with me. And he grabbed me, and he said, like, "Put them back. They're not yours. They belong to Mexico." Wow. I'm like, wow. I didn't get it. But my father told me the story again. Probably that's how I still remember it, like it was like I remembered it.
Yeah.
But it stuck to my mind. That was his motto. He was so,
This belongs to Mexico.
put it back. Belongs to Mexico. It's not yours. Pencils
Yeah.
to his first grandchild.
Wow.
Any other was like, "Oh, I give you the desk and give you that." No. He's like, "No, this is not yours."
I'm going to change directions a little. We're here at Casa 1880. This is a beautiful boutique hotel that was remodeled just a few years ago. And it just happens to be for sale now. And there's a rich history in this building. Can you tell everyone about that?
Well, it was the treasurer of the municipality, something of the state, in this office, in this building. I don't know it precisely, but it was a government office, and it's part of the historic
It was a judicial.
judicial.
Yes. So what I was told by the manager, Miguel, is that it was where the judge lived and there were court proceedings here.
Yes.
And that the rooms are where there were the holding cells.
Yes.
And so they did this huge remodel and made it into a single family home residence.
La Paz has a lot of history because Hernan Cortez came here almost 500 years ago
He came here.
to La Paz.
Okay.
On May 3rd, we celebrate that.
Uh-huh.
He put the name to Bahia de La Paz, Bahia Santa Cruz.
Okay.
That's how they call it, because he came on the day of Santa Cruz. So La Paz, even though has a lot of years of history, didn't grow as much because of the how difficult it is to live in this land of Baja California Sur, that what happened in Guanajuato and Morelia, and they grew and grew and made these fantastic cities. Here, it was very small, even though 100 years ago. That's why the judicial here with this building, it was very frugal. It was very not very well developed.
Yeah. Very modest.
It was very modest and very small. Nor imagine. I mean, you could only get here by ship with sails or with, there was very scarce of water. You had windmills to get water from all over. It was called the city of windmills because everyone
I didn't
in
know
their
that.
houses, especially in front of Malcolm, had windmills
Really?
to take
It's
water
like-
from your wells.
It's like it was the Holland of Mexico.
Almost, yeah. And you would get here by ship, and there was no air conditioning. So in the summer, it was very hot without any air conditioning. So this beautiful house, the outside, you cannot touch it because it's in the catalog of
Like a protected historic
historic
site.
place, right? And this couple from the state
Yep.
bought it. It was
5 years ago,
5
I
years
think.
ago, and for 2 years it was in remodeling, but they brought in pieces and
Like what we're sitting on.
we're sitting on. This is a British, so comfortable seats, and
Things
you
from
feel
Japan,
like
these doors.
you feel like here you're in Titanic,
Right. Yeah.
and for sure.
What impresses me is no one for a hotel would do a remodel like this property did.
Oh,
Because this was a labor of love of the owners for their own private residence.
exactly.
And, life changes and you pivot. And so just in the last year, it's been transformed into a boutique hotel.
Right.
And I think that's an interesting trend that I'm seeing in La Paz is you're seeing restaurants, you're seeing boutique hotels, you're seeing new hotels that are what you wouldn't be accustomed to seeing in La Paz. It's going through a transformation.
It's going through a transformation, and this kind of places like Casa 1880 is a good example of you get a couple from the States and they say, this place, La Paz, for the love of the La Paz, we're going to transform this into this gem, because it's a gem. You don't believe things that happen in La Paz. This is probably the number one place where big yachts come to explore the Sea of Cortez.
Yeah.
You have boats here that are over 100 feet long, with names that surprise you, the Spielberg, you name it.
I heard Zuckerberg was just
Zuckerberg was
recently.
here. Yeah, and you see these huge yachts in this marina, and even if they're not huge, they're packed. There's no place to place your boats because it's a playground that is easy to navigate in these fantastic places like Espiritu Santo Island, all these, and it's so safe. Especially Mexicans from the mainland have discovered it. They come, they're booked from June all the way to mid-October to book. You see people coming and leaving in yachts. It's another industry that's happening here in La Paz, big time.
Why should an American or Canadian, a foreigner that knows Cabo and has been coming to Cabo for years, if not decades, generations, consider La Paz?
Depends on their kind of living. But if they want to really be part of a community and be part of a place that gives you more to your soul, to your quality of living, without being in an enclosed environment with a planned community that has all the amenities, and then you're going to see only the people that live there, and you have great services, and you have so many amenities. But if you don't like that, and you want to have a real life, and be able to go out and walk to Malecon, and then go to the beach, and then go to a nice restaurant and walk and feel that you're part of the community and friendly, and wave people pass you by, and they courteous in the cars, not freeways and cars passing you by is the left and right, and real authentic life with good quality of living. This is a place to live.
Yeah. Agustín, one last question.
Yes.
First off, thanks for being a guest on my podcast. Thanks for coming to Casa 1880. My last question for you, what does the Baja mean to you?
Baja means to me my soul, my life, my home.
And I think you're the one guest on my podcast that has the longest, most enriched family history in the Baja, dating back to your grandfather, who was born here in 1890 and serviced in the Mexican Revolution. That's an incredible history that continues with you today.
I think he inherited that, the name, and inherited the love of Baja to me. I remember when I was young, my folks gave us a surprise to me and my siblings to go to Orlando, to Disney World, and Easter vacation, something like that. And I was against it. I said, I don't want to go there. And my folks are like, with eyes like that, like, this kid doesn't want to go to
Disney World.
Disney World? No, I want to go to La Paz with my friends and the beach, and and everybody went, and they sent me with my grandparents here.
No way.
To spend my vacation with my uncle, my cousins, my friends, and the beach and all that. I was a happy camper here in La Paz.
Mickey Mouse or the whales? You picked the whales.
100%. I still do.
Agustín, thank you very much. And
Thank
everyone, if you haven't visited La Paz or Casa 1880, I invite you to visit this wonderful place. And until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronaval Real Estate, and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronaval. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronaval.com or FindMexicoHouses.com. Hasta luego.